there ducklings, thank you so much for joining me for a breakdown of my brand new, very shiny work wisdom reading. This is another one of the new crop of readings that I've brought out during the month of March. I tend to start a lot of these spread breakdown videos by explaining that I designed the reading for myself first and foremost, and then decided that it would be good for clients. Actually, in this case, that's not what happened. I actually introduced this reading and worked on this reading whilst thinking much more about the kinds of concerns that I do help clients to work through, and I wanted to introduce a comprehensive workplace reading that would speak to a lot of those kinds of issues. This reading, the work wisdom reading, is very much more suited to those who work in an environment where they are an employee, where they work with a team. They might be a manager, but they might have a manager above them, so they work in some kind of hierarchy, if you like. They might work in a corporate world, or they might work in an independent place, but essentially they work in an environment that is not freelance. It's not really self-employment per se, and so a lot of the issues that I address in this spread do speak to that. If you feel like you really want to do an in-depth reading to help you to feel better about what you're doing at work, really show up at work so much more, if you're looking for a promotion, if you're just kind of trying to figure out how to deal with tensions amongst the group or the team that you work with, this might be a really good one for you. Obviously, there are a lot of positions to get through, so I just want to let you guys know before I start the breakdown, for anyone who's new around here and you've not seen one of my spread designs before, this is just a dummy reading. I'm not going to be turning these cards over. This is literally just a pretty little template for you to look at while I explain the spread positions. I feel like it's much better to look at cards while I'm discussing spread positions than it is for you to look at my face. So that's why I have this setup going on here. I'm not going to be turning the cards over. I'm not doing an example reading or anything of that nature. The deck that I'm using, by the way, that has these wonderful backings on it right here, is Vessel Oracle. And I do have an unboxing and first impressions of Vessel Oracle on my channel, so I will definitely leave that down below if anyone is curious about these cards. And I'll just give you actually a little bit of a glimpse of them. They are amazing. They're so, so cool. So if you would like to just have a little look at that unboxing and first impressions, then you can do that. I'll leave it below. Okay, so the stones as well that I've selected, I have chosen ones that I would be likely to choose for a client depending on their notes. I do always use crystals to kind of punctuate the readings that I'm doing and bring the correct energies in. So just to let you know, this is rose quartz, which I always use for my readings and my sessions and stuff. It just really anchors us into self-love and makes sure that the messages that come through are always for the querent's highest good. I've got Sodalite here because a lot of people that come to me about work-related stuff are concerned about communication. A lot of people are concerned about the way that they communicate with their teammates or their manager. Also, people do struggle with teammates and managers who have very different personality types to them, and that can often come up in work spreads as well. I've got some green calcite, which is very energizing. It's really about finding your fears, finding your energy again, getting back to that state of productivity. It's a really good stress-busting stone, and it's also very good for cord cutting, so helping you to understand what you need to release and let go of. Finally, I've got the Mookate, aka Australian Jasper. This is very good for helping you to see things differently. If you're trying to troubleshoot or problem solve when it comes to something at work, Mookate will normally welcome messages from the cards that help you to see things from a different perspective and notice what you might be missing in the situation. Now I'm going to talk through the 10 spread positions for the work wisdom reading. There is a lot to get through. I'm going to leave all of the 10 spread positions listed below for you as well. So we begin in the top left hand corner with position number 1, which is your key strengths for the workplace and how to use them. This is actually looking at strengths that you have within your possession right now that you can really take into the workplace and use effectively in the workplace. You might not know that there are certain key strengths that you exhibit all the time outside of the workplace, but don't really bring them into the workplace environment so much. Likewise, you might be actually kind of aware of the strengths that you have in the workplace, but you might just be wondering how to use those strengths more effectively, how to help them to come across more frequently. And then of course, spread position number 2, quite an obvious one really, it's your key weaknesses in the workplace and how to tackle them. So these two work together as a nice little team. The first is the strengths and how to use them, the second, weaknesses and how to tackle them. Some of the stuff that comes through in the second card may be shadow work that you need to deal with. It might be mindsets that you've brought along from a previous job position or from elsewhere in your life that you might realise are causing an issue for you in the workplace and need to be dealt with. Sometimes it might just be literally practical and logistical things that you are not as good at in the workplace, and just figuring out how you can strengthen on those things. So it really can be anything from getting your inbox clear and keeping on top of emails right the way through to something really kind of shadow worky, like for example competitiveness in the workplace and finding that that's causing an issue for you. So really in the weaknesses department it's very interesting to see what does come through. Like I said, there can be shadow content there. And then the third spread position in the work wisdom reading is how to be a productive and integrated team member. So this is the first position where we actually look at your relationship with other people that you work with, how you integrate within the team, and how you can make sure that you are being productive and integrated as a team member. Obviously, if you're having particular issues in this area, if you're finding group dynamics difficult or you're not getting along with a member of the team, this is one of the first cards that's going to be really of use to you. But then in position number 4, again, these two work as kind of a team. So with position number 4, you specifically look at how to deal with tensions and drama within the work team. So here, if you are experiencing drama, if you are experiencing any unpleasantness with various members of the team, with one member, with a manager, whoever, this really kind of gives you the maximum scope for exploration on that issue and focusing on how you can deal with the tensions, how you personally can respond to the drama. And then the 5th card, which is the final one on the top row for work wisdom, is personal goals and targets to consider focusing on. So I just want to break this one down a little bit, position number 5 here, the last one on this top row. Whenever I was working within a company structure of any kind, I always found that my work days went so much better and I felt so much more positive if I had my own personal goals and targets that I was working towards, as well as obviously focusing on the targets that I was set by my manager, the targets that we'd agreed upon within the team, etc. So it wasn't enough for me to have those targets that were given to me by my employers or agreed upon within the group. I also had to have those kind of targets for me, and they wouldn't necessarily be targets to do with how many calls I could answer, how many emails I could reply to, how many customers I could serve. It was more things like goals to do with my mindset, goals to do with my behaviour around others, goals to do with my timekeeping, all that kind of stuff. And it was looking at my productivity and my kind of behaviour within the group and the way that I bounced off of other people. And a lot of the time, you know, these kinds of goals would be to do with not letting the negative shit get to me, keeping a high vibe, making sure I arrive at work in plenty of time and leave work in plenty of time, those kinds of things, and that I have a good lunch, that sort of stuff. So very often card number 5 speaks to this. It's not about the company goals that have been set out. It's not about what your manager wants you to do. It's very much more about your personal targets, the things that you want to be working towards. And that's what's so magical, I think, about card number 5. Okay, so now we're on to a whole new row, row number 2 of the Work Wisdom spread design. Card number 6, which is the first one on this second row, is what could be achieved in the next few months if you set your mind to it. So this card is actually kind of allowing you to build a vision of what is really on the table for you if you set your mind to it and you're focused and you actually hit your targets and you bring your A game to the work environment. So here we're looking at what could be down the road for you if you are diligent and committed with looking at the targets and hitting those targets. I think this is a really good one for people who feel demotivated about work, who are really not feeling like they want to be committed to bettering themselves or hitting those targets. I think it's really good for helping somebody to have that more long-term goal that they can grasp onto. But it's also a really good card for revealing your potential. So if you've kind of lost your feeling of capability at work, if you keep talking yourself down and telling yourself that you're not good enough, I think this first card on the second row, position 6, is really good at just reminding you of what you are capable of and what you stand to actually achieve if you put your mind to it and stay focused. So it can be a really good positive card in that regard. The last 4 cards in the Work Wisdom reading I personally love the most because they're all really heavy on guidance, tips, suggestions, encouragement, all that kind of good stuff. They're very action oriented and they really just provide so much love and so much nurturing. So position number 7, is suggested spiritual and self-help practices to enhance your work life. So this is really anything you can be doing spiritually in terms of self-development, any practices, any concepts you can be researching, anything you might want to put into your spiritual routine that could really help you to get the edge when it comes to work and really help you to feel more empowered and clearer about what you are doing with that job, where you want to go with it, etc. And then position number 8 looks at a powerful archetype or symbol to help you feel strong at work. So this card actually gives you access to something symbolic, something powerful, an archetype, a sign of some kind that you can actually use that will give you that sense of momentum and empowerment in the workplace. I really, really love this one, and I think these kinds of cards bring some really interesting insights forth. When we turn a card over and we just see a really powerful symbol or archetype, a really powerful figure, a really powerful animal, you know, something that can really help us to tune into our capability and strength, I think that can be really helpful when we're going through specific challenges in the workplace. So I really love card number 8. And then card number 9 looks at a key tip for your morning routine on work days. Now, you guys know I'm big on setting your vibration, getting the morning routine good. I'm going to leave a link below to a video that I made quite some time ago when I was on a very snowy walk, and I was talking about setting your vibration, getting that morning routine good, making sure that the first thing you do every morning is lock into your intentions, your strength, who you are in the core of your being. And I'm still really big on that, and it works for me and it really helps my clients. And I've had so many really positive messages from audience members and clients along the way on this journey I've been on about how powerful it's been to actually tweak the morning routine. Even if it's only a tiny little bit, even if you don't have much leeway in that department and you don't have much time, the tiniest little tweaks have been so influential and useful for so many people. So with card number 9, really tuning into the key tip for the morning routine on work days, and you might find some really interesting things come through for this. And then the 10th and final card is a key tip for making an impression or climbing the ladder. So if you really want to make a positive impression on a manager, if you want to make a positive impression in a meeting, if you're going for that promotion, if you just feel like you want to be a more valued member of the team, maybe you're concerned about job security and you want to make sure that you are just making the right moves with the right people and bringing the right energy to the position, card number 10 will be really useful for you. And if you are kind of looking to climb up and go to a new position, then it's really just focusing on how you can make that happen and the key tip for bringing that into being. So there it is, that's the work wisdom spread design. I hope you guys like it and try it out for yourselves, tweak it if you want to. You can change positions, you can add positions, of course you can do clarifying cards if you want to, it's totally up to you. But if you would like me to actually draw cards for you for this complete spread design, all 10 positions, you will find it over at my shop, kelly-annmaddox.com. I'm going to leave the link for you below to the work wisdom reading if you want to purchase it from me, and you can get it via pre-recorded video, live Skype call, or email via a PDF document. And you can really just find out what kinds of insights I've got for you when I throw cards for you on this. So I really enjoy doing this spread design. If you want to have a reading from me and you feel like this would be helpful, go ahead and make that purchase. Guys, I will let you know that I do have a dedicated playlist now where I'm putting all of my spread designs in. Previously it was just in a bit of a mishmash with loads of other different stuff, but I thought it would be much easier and much more convenient for people who are looking for spreads from me that there is a dedicated playlist, so I'm definitely going to leave that below. And please also, if you do want to share this spread online, if you want to share the spread positions on your blog or anything like that, if you could give me a little link back to this video at my channel, that would be so helpful. It will help people to find me and possibly also enjoy more helpful spreads from me too. I loved doing this breakdown. I feel so energized now. I really enjoy designing spreads. It makes me feel so happy and just fizzy and bubbly, and the possibilities with spread design are just so exciting and so endless. So I really hope this has given you some inspiration and some joy, and much love until next time, darlings. Blessed be.